You're muted, Bonnie.
Yes, I can.
Actually, I got you. Okay, never mind. We're all good. Let's see.
In the shadows.
Okay, this meeting is now live and open to the public.
Okay, well, welcome to the TAB meeting for June, on June 16th here. Call this meeting to order. Do a quick roll call. We'll go through. Stephanie is not here. Bill Watson is here. Jeff is here. Kathy Keene here. Kathy Vincenti not here. Ron Browning is not here. Greg Pizzuto, which is, I guess you're not really an appointed member, but he's here. And
I'm here.
and Bob Glassman is here, although his picture has disappeared. Anyway, and I understand we have a new member, Rebecca Cole, who unfortunately probably did not get emails because this is the first I knew that she had been made a part of the committee. So
That's the first I've heard.
if somebody will get me her contact information, Councilman David, I will be happy to include her on all future information.
Now you're just a chair. Why should you know?
Well, you speak from experience, I'm sure, Bill. So anyway, hopefully this one will be a quick one anyway. So Lori's not here. She's recovering from foot surgery. Bonnie's taking her place. And Bonnie's also taking Stephanie's place as secretary. So Bonnie is wearing many hats today. So, okay. First thing, I did send out the minutes from the last meeting. I'm sure you all perused them very thoroughly. And does anybody have any corrections or changes they'd like to have made? Okay, I don't hear anybody. So I'll ask somebody for a motion to approve the minutes.
Sure, I will.
Jeff moves. Anybody second?
I second it.
There we go.
So all in
Stuff out of the
favor
way quick.
accepting the minute is written, raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? Nobody. Okay, so they're unanimously approved. Chairperson's report. One of the things I have listed on there is possible new members. Well, obviously, we have a possible new member or an actual new member. Like I said, I understand she's in the real estate business, and it'll be exciting to have her on board as a large member. As for the other positions, we need somebody for retail, somebody for museums. I spoke with the owner of the Blue Heron, and they are interested in being the retail representative. Her only concern is she has to open the store at 11, and we obviously meet at 10 and kind of brush up against her. But normally our meetings pretty much end by 11. So I told her we could always accommodate her by letting her give her report before she has to leave. So in case things ran over. So I will pass that information on to, well, Lori, or I guess Dave's there. I'll get it to Lori because Lori can make contact with them, get all the information, and then have her maybe approved as the new retail member. And we still need somebody for museums. And does anybody have any ins or anything with any of the museums where they might know somebody that would want to be a part of this committee? No, nothing. Yeah,
I
okay.
heard they just met, so maybe they'll, they're working on that.
And I think so many of the museums right now they're undergoing leadership changes, so things are kind of a little up in the air with the museums in terms of recruiting somebody for our group. So we'll keep working on that anyway. The Jazz and Blues Fest was June 4th and 5th. I wonder if anybody'd like to make any comments, or anybody who's involved give some sort of negative or anything in between about the event.
Jim, I know that they're having a post-event meeting concurrent with this meeting to go over everything. Suzanne Chadwick, who chaired the event, sent out a basic review ahead of that meeting. And she was saying that ticket sales were 19%. She goes over what they were in 2019. So that's good considering we came out of a pandemic and there was no event last year at all. And it was, people are still, sometimes they might be hesitant to come out to a live event. So I think that was good. And I did not attend. Unfortunately, I was away for like 2.5, almost 3 weeks because my mom passed away a couple of weeks ago. So I was not able to attend it or volunteer. But from everything I hear, the acts were very good. And like I said, the attendance was 90% over what it was in 2019.
Okay, well, that's the good news. Anything else? No. Okay, we'll move along. First Friday was on June the 4th. Is there any discussion anybody wants to bring up about that event? Obviously, got showered on right in the middle of the event, which made for things being a little more interesting. But is there anybody has anything that they want to put in about First Friday?
Jim, First Friday, though, the rain didn't deter people. They went inside, they hid under the tents, and as soon as and actually they helped the vendors hold down some of their tents. And then they came right as soon as the rain stopped, they cheered and came right back into the streets. Havre de Grace is open. People are coming here. Jazz and Blues was a good project. And First Fridays was a success as well. I mean, the people stuck around even though it rained.
Right.
Yeah, I know I was at the visitor center, and as soon as it stopped raining, people started walking down Pennington Avenue back into the event. So not only did the people that were there stick around, people were still coming after the rains. I think it went very well, all things considered. I'm sure some of the vendors probably had some difficulties dealing with the weather, but for a first event that hadn't happened in over a year, in the end, I think it all went rather well. Bonnie, were you getting ready to?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we had an after action meeting with right after First Fridays and kind of discussed the crazy weather and that it did not deter people. It's that we did see a lot of people running for cover. We saw some vendors take down their tents. There were some tents that went flying. Because of that, in the after action meeting decided that everyone would need to have weights on those tents in the future. If they're going to pop them up, they have to bring weights so that they don't go flying away and end up hurting anyone or damaging any property. Other than that, we are completely full of vendors for the season. We're taking vendors' names and applications for waitlisting and trying to fill spaces for anyone that is canceled, but we are completely full for the season. People want to get back out and they want to sell their products. So there was one other thing. We're going to have a new traffic pattern for, and I don't know if you want me to wait on that. I'll just go ahead and wait for Lori's meeting, but just wanted to, go over that whole thing with the weather kind of caught us by surprise, but we're going to be prepared for next time.
Okay, well, you can bring that up when we get to the tourism office report in a flash. So one thing that is not on our agenda, which I penciled in, and I'll have on the agenda from here on out, is a council liaison report. Since you're not on here anywhere else, David, we need to hear you. So it's your turn.
Well, biggest issues are going to be the trolleys are still delayed. We thought we would have them by the end of June. They were going to be introduced at the 4th of July parade. The manufacturers are still waiting for chassis components, so that's not going to happen. When you talk about the events and all the event applications, we're filled. I'm not kidding you. Right now, Havre de Grace is happening. We've got all kinds of events coming up. People are coming up with more and more ideas. So, I mean, we are back in full swing. Your issues with the street, the curbs, the barriers for the street and the removal, the actions on that, it was allowed under the governor's state of emergency. And when the state of emergency ended and Bill, the mayor, did not renew our state of emergencies by law, those barriers had to come back down. And if we wish to reconsider that, that would have to be people talking to the legislative group. So you're talking about the council members, but it's got to be a three-way conversation between the restaurants, the existing businesses, and the citizens, because parking right now is still precious for everybody. Eventually, with the trolleys in place, with the parking lot opening up at the old high school, we may have some recourse, but currently right now there are no plans. The other option was trying to do a lease agreement to lease the sidewalks in front of the restaurants to barricade them. But again, they have to meet the ADA requirements. The only one that has approached us so far has been McGregor's. And they approached, and I'm still waiting for Stephanie to get back to me with whether they're going to continue trying to petition the city and Shane Grimm, because it would have to go through planning first to make sure that they would be able to comply with the ADA requirements for the passage of the people. And that also includes not only the sidewalk, but the ability of the sidewalk to meet ADA. So when you're talking some of the cobblestones and that, it may not be ADA accessible or ADA compliant. So that's where everything stands right now on that part of it.
Okay, well, that's good news to hear, because I know there's been a lot of questions about the restaurants moving back outside. So thanks for that information. So then we'll go to Harvey Grace Tourism Office report. Just feel free. I have a couple things under there, but whatever you want to report.
Well, I don't have an official report from Lori. I didn't get that before she left, but we'll just go back and say, first Fridays, we're going to have a new traffic pattern for the vendors on Franklin to kind of alleviate some of that congestion with trying to get everybody in and get them all set up. Streets close at 3, and at 3:30, we just start bringing our vendors in. It went pretty smoothly last time, except, poor Jim had to deal with one little issue at the other end. That we need to get that information out to folks that first Friday means downtown is closed from 3:30 until 10 o'clock to downtown traffic. So we'll continue to try to get that information out there. But luckily for us, Jim has agreed to set at the new information tent that will be at Pennington and Washington Street. We have ordered a really nice tent for him that has the city seal on it and says information all the way around that. So folks will know where to go if they have any questions, issues. Jim knows he's been doing this for almost every event that we have. We have gone to him to man that tent, sell our goods that we have for Discover Your Maryland, and does a fabulous job at it. So thank you so much, Jim, for taking that on. The classic cars, we had moved them from Franklin Street to Pennington for the last event. We kind of noticed it. There was a bit of congestion. We probably didn't have as many classic cars as we normally have because of the anticipated rain. The weather said, no, it wasn't going to happen. And after saying yes all day, we were going to have rain, it came out and said, nope, it's not going to happen. And of course it did. And it hit pretty good. So we didn't, I don't think we had as many classic cars as normal. But for the July event, we are moving that to David Craig Park, just to kind of alleviate some of that congestion we have on Pennington, where the entrance, we have people, vendors coming through, people from the band coming through, and emergency vehicles. It's not very popular with some of the folks that, you know, run the classic car event, but we'll take a look at it again after July. So that basically, I'm just going to go over what you know. The carnival's in town. It looks like it's pretty successful. I know Jim is thrilled that he is seeing a Ferris wheel, and I'm sure it looks great down there. So I hope everybody gets a chance to go down and support that. At least take a look, become a kid again, and you know, buy some carnival food. We had a lot of calls about that yesterday. But the Ernest Burke Memorial Statue will unveil on June 26th at 1 p.m. There's a little flyer about it. If anyone can go down and support that at Tidings Park and be there for the unveiling, that would be wonderful. We have upcoming event or a large weekend coming up for 4th of July weekend, which is going to be on Friday, will be the first Friday event. We expect it to be very busy. Then the Spirit of America is a new event that's happening through the Habit of Grace Alliance. There's flyers like this all over the place that you'll see with all kinds of events going on. Brand new event. We're looking forward to see how that goes. And then, of course, the parade. It will be at 2 o'clock on July 4th. I think they're always looking for volunteers. So if anybody knows anyone that wants to be a part of that parade and help out, send them our way, and we can direct them to Taryn Martin. And then, of course, the fireworks. So everybody, fingers crossed, no rain. Also, summer park concerts in the park are going on. If we have a cancellation, they call here, and we try to get that information on our website. So it's a good reminder to let people know to go to our Facebook page. We'll post it there, as well as on our events calendar at Explore Habit of Grace. One other thing, I saw Lori's little stickers for the pet-friendly businesses came in. They are quite cute. They're a little decal that will go on the business, hopefully to let our visitors to Habit of Grace know that their furry friends are welcome in that business. And that's about all I have. So, Jim,
Thank
all
Bob.
you.
Hey, Bonnie, I have a question for you real quick.
Sure.
The carnival, is there a specific proceeds that benefit any organization?
It does. It benefits the 4th of the.
July
All right,
4th?
I'm going to say it wrong, but that commission, Mr. Martin, can you tell him what is it? Celebrate
It's
the 4th.
It's for the
Celebrate the
4th
4th.
of July
Right.
commission.
Yeah, it goes towards that. And that is Tuesday through Saturday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Thank you.
And if you come out tonight, I'll sell you your tickets, Bill. I'll be working in the ticket booth, so you're more than welcome to come out. I'm glad to take your money as a donation to help out the 4th of July commission.
Only if you're riding a Ferris wheel with me.
You buying the funnel cake?
Please take a picture of that.
Well, you picked the right ride anyway, Bill. It's good to see a Ferris wheel in town. So, okay, that's that. So we'll move on to the sector reports. Stephanie is not here, but she did send me a note, and maybe you all saw the note too. I'm not sure. But she really didn't get a report from any of the restaurants. So I guess the information we got from Councilman Martin about the procedure to get something set up outside is kind of germane to this report, but otherwise, she said she got no reports from you. one thing I would say is, as a volunteer at the visitor center, and of course I'm talking to all the wrong people, none of the restaurants in town, with the exception of McGregor's, has any kind of information at the visitor center. And the number one question I get from tourists is, where can I go eat? Where's good? What place has the best food? And things like that. And so I would love to get the word out there to the restaurants that they would be helping themselves if they were kind enough to get us some rack cards for their establishment, and suggest to them putting on there, we have the world's best crab cake, will draw the tourists like crazy. Because that's the number one question that I get about the restaurants is, where can I get a good crab cake? And I really don't want to be the one saying, well, hey, this place is the best or that place. But for one thing, everybody has different tastes. So I generally run through virtually every restaurant and then leave them to decide it on their own. But anyway, so that's one thing I would say is, if we could get the restaurants, it's free advertising to a group of people who are definitely going to spend money eating in town, to get us some information on their places, it would be great. We got spots just waiting for you. So retail, we have no member at this time. Like I say, maybe that will change within the next month. Did somebody have something? No. Okay. Museums, we have nobody. Anybody have any museum information by any chance? Okay. Public Arts Commission, Bill.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Again, like I said, I've been away. I got back this late last week, but been away because of my mom's passing. I've been in South Carolina for 2.5 weeks, so I'm not really totally caught up on everything. So just apologize in advance for this brief report. But talked about Jazz and Blues Festival. Like I said, I think it was largely viewed as a success by the organization. Thanks to Visit Hartford, of course. You were the major sponsor of that event, Greg. So hopefully you got to see some of the shows. Maybe you can say a couple things about it if you get a chance. The sculpture project, the pier piling sculpture project, the artist is in the middle of the process right now, sculpting the birds I talked about that are going down the lighthouse pier, and are keeping our fingers crossed that that'll be installed before the waterfront festival, or by the time of the waterfront festival, so we can unveil that project then. Of course, talked about Ernest Burke already. Bonnie did June 26th, and I'm not really at liberty to say right now, but there will be a new statue/sculpture project. It's going to be hopefully installed within the next year or so up in around the Lock House. I don't have any details. I'm going to be talking to Joanne Healy tomorrow about that, because she's asked for some input from the Public Art Committee. And so that looks promising. I think it's a private donor who's going to be doing something. So that's kind of exciting. I know Ezra's still painting down in Grawl Alley. There's some new additions. You probably saw them online if you didn't see them in person. Some great stuff, great historical murals, and that's just a real treasure. And Greg, I got your email yesterday. I will get you that picture. Okay. And what else was I going to say? Well, that's right. The Arts by the Bay Gallery has a new show opening this Friday. So there will be our first live reception since COVID at 7:00 at the Arts by the Bay Gallery on St. John Street. We have 5 shows a year, and this is one of those. And the featured artist is Neela Cheney, who is a wildlife painter and photographer. So if you get a chance, come by Friday night. If you're not going to concerts at the park, or maybe you can hit both, and come by for the opening. We have free food catered by Larapin. So it's always a nice event. Anyway, let's see. I can't think of anything off the cuff. If anyone has anything to add, please, I welcome it.
I'd just like to say for the Ernest Burke statue thing, I meant to bring this up earlier. They're doing a silent auction to raise money for that at the visitor center. and they have an autographed ball, an autographed bat, and a leather Negro Leagues leather jacket that are all for sale or up for bid, I guess I should say. I don't know all the details, but if you're interested in baseball memorabilia, I think it's a chance to maybe score something very special, and then maybe at a very reasonable price. So stop by the visitor center and check that out. I don't know. I would assume since the statue is being dedicated this weekend that the auction probably ends this weekend. I don't know that for sure either, but I would guess. So you probably want to get down there. Have a look at that if you're interested. Okay, Jeff, for Outdoor Rec.
Not a whole lot to report. The season seems to be in motion at this point. There are a lot of people using boats. I mean, on the weekend, it's almost crowded out there, but we're seeing a lot more boat usage. And we're getting a steady stream of transients coming to town. However, as I reported at the last meeting, we still don't have a lot of reservations for the 4th of July, which I am still shocked by, because I just checked right before I sat down, and we've got 4 reservations. I didn't check with Steve Young this morning to see what he's like. We're usually the 2 biggest operations in town between the park and here. But last time when I checked, we had none, and he had none still. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to put a little Facebook thing up with Upper Chesapeake recreational boaters, just to get people to realize that there is space available, because it's occurred to me that they may think that there isn't space available because there usually isn't by now. And it kind of fits in a little bit with what they do, with what we've seen lately, where people really aren't planning for the last year. They haven't planned much in advance. They'll check the weather and then for the weekend, and then they make their reservation. But I would expect holidays to be a little bit different. So I'm going to try to do something more with that to see if we can't get some people, because it seems to me with no fireworks in Baltimore, boats are going to need a place to go. And that I would have thought have already filled us up, but more to follow on that. And that's about it. That's all I have now. We're in the throes of the season at this point.
Okay. You did have a group of 35 or so folks last week.
We had a group. It was the Wilmington Power Squadron that came in, and it was 12 or 15 boats that came in, mostly bigger boats. And we have Tyler Buck is working for us now. So Tyler happened to be the guy that they would see when they came in the store. So they had a great ambassador pushing the city on them. And then when we would, a lot of times we'll give them a ride back around to where the boats are in a golf cart. And when we do that, Tyler would drive them through Alan's project, the Graw Alley project. So Alan held court with several of them at different times that came through, and he was over the moon because they were so interested in it. But yeah, we had that, and we've got groups like that through September. I probably have another 10 groups like that have scheduled to come in. They may not be a dozen boats or 15 boats. Some of them are 6 boats, but we are seeing the groups coming back in. And for us to have, we started the season with 12 lined up from Memorial Day through September, where last year we had none lined up. We got a couple late in the year, but yeah, we are seeing those. And yeah, I think Alan's been telling a story of talking to those folks to everyone else in town. He was real happy to see those guys. And having Tyler here and having Laurie's son work for us has been a big help. Never mind, we have Steve Young's daughter working for us too. So everybody, now we probably have our best tourism front that we've ever had here when people come in.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Tour operations with Kathy.
Hi. Well, yeah, Jeff, I got a call from the guy who was staying at Tidewater Marina, Bruce Wingard. He wanted to arrange a tour, but unfortunately we couldn't accommodate him because he wanted a tour for the very next morning. So, right. And it was 25 people. So I kind of need 2 guides for that,
Mhm.
and I couldn't arrange any guides at that last minute. So hopefully if these people want a tour, which, we'd love to do, they have to call me a little bit earlier, give me a little more notice, and then I'll arrange it with them.
Well, we
So
can,
that was unfortunate.
we can try to help with that a little bit. The
Mhm.
problem that on our end is we never know what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
Some people come in and they want to do all that, and some people want to come in and just do their own thing, and it does vary quite a bit. But if we get wind of that, we'll get them heading your direction sooner than when they show up.
And I did talk to him about our mobile app, that they could take their own tour and use the mobile
Mhm.
app. And I said, explained it a little. I don't think, should I bring rack cards down there to the Tidewater Marina? Because we have one explaining how to use the mobile app.
If you have some, that's great. And
Oh, sure.
I can even stop by and pick them up. It wouldn't be till later this week that I could stop by, but you don't need to come down. If you're going down,
Oh,
it's great,
okay.
but
I think
I
that
can
would
pick
be
them up.
the mobile app rack card, and also the Lafayette Trail information.
they were
My
look-
number. That's
They
how I
had some
got
of
it.
that. Yeah, they
Okay.
had the Lafayette Trail stuff.
Yeah, he got my number from that brochure. So unfortunately, that was 25 people that we could have taken all around Harvey Grace. But hopefully, I said, if you need any help on the mobile app, call me, and I will give you. I'll guide you a little bit. So anyway, that I haven't gotten any other calls for guided tours. So Jim, some people stopped in the visitor center, Jim told me, and they were interested in mid-century modern structures that were designed by Paul D. Hirsch in 50s and 60s mostly. So we got some information, and he said nicely, and Jim is one of our guides, and he said he would be glad to take them around. So we got some information for him to use from American Institute of Architects, and they were very helpful. And they gave me a list of all the projects that Paul D. Hirsch had done in Harvey Grace, and that was good because we really didn't have the list, and also her own personal history and everything. So that was good, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Kathy. So Kathy Vincenti is not here from the Chamber of Commerce. I know they have moved out of the visitor center. I don't know where they have moved to. So does anybody happen to know?
Kathy told me yesterday that they are moving downtown to the where they were before in the what is that building? She told me it was on the tip of my tongue. It used to be the corporate center, right? Yeah.
Oh,
They're moving there.
Okay.
I don't know if that's official, but just a heads up. We may have a new tenant down there where April is.
Okay. And Jeff, those rack cards for the Lafayette Trail, we've got tons of them at the visitor center. If you just want to stop by there.
Yeah, I'll stop by and pick some up. We had some of those too. We ran out with that group, but I'll get some of those.
Great.
It is on Explore Havre de Grace too, under museums and history. And so if you click on the Lafayette Trail, there's an explanation of how to use that app.
oh, good.
It is on our website.
Yeah, and more and more boaters are using not phones, but iPads and laptops. One of the things that we have to always make sure is working here is we have free Wi-Fi. And when it stops working, people line up with their pitchforks and torches to strangle me. So, so we had that, and we were pointing that out to some people too, that they can go on a website and look at it. Most of them actually, when they come in now, most of them have already seen that Explore Havre de Grace website by the time they get here, so they're already familiar with it.
Okay. So lodging is Ron. Ron's not here, but I have a slight connection to the lodging industry, and I can just report that at the Spencer Silver Mansion, the phones have started ringing off the hook. Like Dave Martin said, it's no secret, I guess, that the world is open and Havre de Grace is open, and the people are starting to come back. in the kind of numbers that we had 2 years ago. So that's great news for her. I don't know I can't report anything on the Vandiver. And they're the only 2 bed and breakfasts currently operating in Havre de Grace, and probably will be the only 2 from what I understand. So, okay, visit Hartford, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. And first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Bill, I'm so sorry to hear about your mother. Our thoughts are with you. So do a quick recap on my experience at the Jazz and Blues Fest. I did attend 4 concerts, I believe, 1 Friday night and then 3 on Saturday. They were all outstanding. Great up and comers, the Maryland up and comers, the Nighthawks, Vanessa Collier and Alan Harris, and every one of them was fantastic. And I will tell you, on Saturday, the number of people walking around downtown and down around the lighthouse. I mean, there was a lot of people, and many of them drifted into the tent, which was a good thing. So, from my viewpoint, I thought they did a great job. It looked like more tickets had been sold. There were more people there. So that's all good news, especially for something that, started and took a break and started again. So it really was a first year event, really. But it went very well. Jim, we have restaurant guides. I don't know if you have any in the visitor center or not, but they cover the Havre de Grace restaurants as well. If you don't, then shame on me. I need to get some down to you.
But they're probably a few years old now. So if you have something that's more up to date.
I have a brand new one we just came out with in February. So I will make sure that I get those down to the visitor center. Along with our visitor guide. So so those will be there. And unfortunately we went to print before the new place came in. The Water Street. So they're not in there, unfortunately. But all the other ones are in there. So I will make sure we get those to you. That's really it. I mean, I did talk to a family called us yesterday, and I talked to them there in Pittsburgh. They wanted to know if they could stop in Hartford County on their way to Ocean City. And by the time we were done speaking, they're spending the weekend in Havre de Grace. They're not going to Ocean City. So we're doing what we can to send people that way. So they wanted a promenade. I said, we have it. They wanted good restaurants. I said, you have it. So they're headed your way. I gave them some locations to stay. And, so hopefully you'll see some Pittsburgh people there this weekend. So, and that's really kind of my update. There's, a lot of things happening in Hartford County, but, really a lot of things happening in Havre de Grace. So that's all good news.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, move on to new business. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up?
Real quick, this is more a question for Bonnie, because, the visitors destination guide is basically finishing this out for proofing right now. Bonnie, can you give me an update on when I'll get the final edits and proofs requests? I got some from Adam.
You're probably getting a few more from us. Steve Gamatoria has a few things he wants to go over, so that'll probably be later this week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other ideas, new business, anything like that?
Did you guys cover their trolley today?
Just Councilman Martin explained that it's not moving as fast as they thought it would.
Yeah, it's more middle July, end of July delivery date this time.
Okay. Okay, so our next meeting will be July 21st. Hopefully we'll have some new members on board and we'll actually be able to meet our latest new member. Does anybody have anything else they want to say or bring up?
You want to talk about where that meeting will be?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I forgot. This is our last meeting. We will be back in the beautiful confines of the
See, we're already doing that.
of the Tidewater Marina's room. So so for the next meeting, expect to be over there. We will God willing, and no new viruses pop up. Or
Since
anything.
the hand doesn't rise.
Yeah.
You know, Jim, one thing to consider, I mean, a lot of people are getting used now to, I guess my Ring camera. A lot of people are getting used to the Zoom meetings online. It might be considered offering a hybrid, some Zoom, some live there.
That's what we're doing.
I have to work that out with the city, I think. I'm not sure. I guess we would have to have some sort of a computer wherever we're.
There is Wi-Fi available in that room.
And
So-
worst case comes to worst, I do have a Zoom account so that we can host up to 200. So I mean, if we had to, I can bring a laptop and I could host a Zoom meeting without having to go through the city
Okay,
for those members that don't want to attend.
that way we have the public has the opportunity to come to the meeting, and we don't really need the city if we're going to Zoom out to particular members. So
No,
I think
I guess.
when
And I'll follow up to make sure it's not an opens meeting issue, but the meeting would be open to anybody that wanted to come. And it would be Zoom for our members that are still have fear of COVID.
okay, we'll see.
Or it might be just a convenience issue, because,
Right.
I know, Greg, you mentioned some
Yeah, we've forgotten how
their
convenient
office,
Zoom meetings are.
whatever. I don't know.
I think meeting in person.
So do I, but my referee meetings I go to are so much nicer on Zoom meetings because you don't have 200 guys all talking over each other.
Okay, then. Is there anything else anybody would like to say? Then we will meet at the marina on July the 21st at 10. And until then, everybody, wish you a great month of the remainder of June and the beginning of July. So take care.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next month.